Hey, Cindy Gould here, and welcome back to Create Your Victorious Life with my BFF brother from another mother, Eric Stenlake, which we'll get to Eric in a second. Let me just handle all the business. Welcome to the Spanglish World Networks and on Zingo TV, channels 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Zingo TV app on your respective app stores, whether it's on your iOS or Android devices. Hey, you know what? The app is totally free, 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 our favorite word. So while you download, you know what? Be so grateful that it's free that you give us a killer rating and a great comment. Zingo TV is also available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, and Fire TV sticks, Roku, and Roku sticks on all smart TVs. Not any of your dumb TVs, only the smart ones from 2016 and forward. Now, I have my most regular, consistent guest, Eric Stenlake, and I am so excited that he's here today. He's from Empowered Family Network, yes, Energetic Life, which is his TV show, which can be seen Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. You do not want to miss it. It's like amazing. But you know what? We're here to talk about one of our favorite subjects, and it got spurred yesterday because he and Johnny Pardo were on there yesterday on my Facebook. If you scroll down, you'll see it, talking about Joy and about their buddy Joy that they met at summer camp. I think Eric did. And also, so I'm like, okay, let's bring the two Joy boys on. And Johnny Pardo from across the pond cannot be with us today. But Eric so gracefully and gratefully cleared his schedule to hang out with you and with me. So, Eric!
Good morning. Good morning. What's good in the neighborhood there, Joy Catalyst?
Oh, it's so good. And I'm so happy you're here. And you are now officially on summer break. Yes.
I am. I'm on summer break. I just want the weather to be on summer break. We're in the June gloom here in Southern California, and we don't see the sun much. So if it comes out for a few minutes, we quick strip down and run out and stand in the sun because it's all we get for a few minutes a day. And we'll get getting to the beach and laying out probably in July.
Oh my goodness. Well, maybe you'll get 4th of July,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what's so great is, so I was just saying, and how excited I am because we finally have some really beautiful skies up here in the Pacific Northwest. I'm excited, but shout out to my beautiful granddaughter, Marissa, who is graduating from high school this weekend. Woo! So excited.
Congratulations.
Yes, she's amazing and she's breathtaking and she's just a fabulous, spectacular human being. I will say one of my favorite things about Marissa is she's so kind and so generous and probably the most encouraging kiddo. She, no matter what's going on, she'll think of something to lift you up. And it's genuine. So I love that. And I love you, Marissa. And we are so proud of you. Can't wait to celebrate you over the weekend. So today we are going to talk about continuing and creating sustainable joy in your life. Now, you and I both have had many opportunities to choose to live in the land of suck and from all different directions. And I'm grateful that we, I think, have installed within us that little hum of joy that just kind of runs through the bottom of everything in our lives. And I came across a quote the other day, or I heard somebody say this the other day, and it just really stuck with me. And it's, you can't have $1 million dream with minimum wage habits. Not gonna happen ever. And I started thinking about that. Like, yeah, like if you have this vision and you have this dream and you want to make it happen and it's over here, and then you don't even get out of bed till noon, and you know what I mean? Or you go to work and then you come home and you don't work on your side hustle, which is really your main soul's hustle, right? And you don't work on any of that stuff because you're tired or the new season of Cobra Kai came out or whatever, right? And then I started thinking about that on how it relates to joy. And I would say, and I'm going to open this up obviously for you to respond because I really want to know what you think. In order to have sustainable joy, I believe that joy is a choice, just like love is. I believe that joy requires habits and authority. And I would love for you to take it and run with that, Eric Broski.
Well, let me tell you something there, my sister. You do have a choice. And that choice really, really hit me hard the last 24 hours. And so I'm going to open up here to our friends and family around the world as we're watching on this today. Because when it comes to real world situations and relevancy in day-to-day operations within your life, what Cindy just said is choosing joy and making that your priority and making that your daily habits. Where and when is that going to show up? When and where does that need to show up for you? So I'm going to rewind. I'm going to go back to yesterday. And we've talked a number of times, Cindy, you and I, about gratitude stacking and joy stacking. Sometimes life is going to grab you by the collar and start punching you in the face with the negativities, and you'll find yourself, and see if this resonates with you, listeners, you'll find yourself, you're starting to stack all the negatives. You're starting to stack all those things that are taking away your joy. When and where do you put the brakes on and stop and say, I've got to get back into my joy. I've got to get back into that space. And so there's been a number of things that happened yesterday. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. Woke up this morning and here they come again. Boom, ba boom, 3 or 4 and 5 more, and bam, and on and on and on. And I got to the place just before the show where I really had to take some time and disconnect from everyone and everything around me and get back into my joy, get back into that peace. And because I've built in this habit for myself, I realized that, wow, I'm getting into joy so much faster, right? Because I practice until I master this. And I didn't realize from yesterday, these things that were concerning for me, how they were stacking up. And then my brain starts going into the narrative stories and creating things that aren't real, creating things that aren't there at all. Oh, for the love of Pete. And then I'm sitting here this morning, I'm going, why am I doing this to myself? Get back into it. So then I start going back into my manifestation sayings that I use for me.
Right.
Which I love to use, and I mix it up, and I think I was with you on the show before where I was using the fingertips and making that connection to the nervous system. I think that was on your show. And I did this morning. I did that this morning. I am in peace. I am in joy. I am in love. And I just kept going over that and over that and over that until I felt that pressure, that stress, that release, and it began to dissipate. And what began to build up now is that peace, joy, love, everything else that I am manifesting for myself, and I'm getting into that place. Did those things go away? The things that were stressing me out from before? No, but what I did is I disconnected from the emotional triggers of them to get back into that space. So when you're talking about the habits, it is so vitally important. Friends and family around the world, which on this show, there's over 3 million of you globally that are listening to this. This is what we're talking about. And I can tell you from personal experience how much it works for me. And the fact that I go from where these worries, doubts, fears, triggers are to where I am, and I close that gap, if you will, from start to finish, or from where I am to solution, because it becomes that habit and I'm closing that distance of time. So
Yeah.
I'm not operating within that space that's so big now of all the ups and downs, the loops, the narratives, the stories, and all these things that are going on until I finally go, I can't take it anymore. And I gotta and then I'm just like in the fetal position. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. I got to get back into my joy. And by that time, I have built up so much garbage in
100%.
here and in here that it's
Mhm.
hard to separate it out. So this
Okay.
is what I'm so glad we decided to talk about this today. And how ironic, you and I didn't talk before the show.
Mm-mm.
And you see how we were led. Like this was supposed to happen, to
Yeah.
talk about this, because it's real world, it's real time, it is now. And these are the things that you can do in the immediate
Hello.
to find your joy.
Hello. Gosh, so much to unpack there. So here's what's so cool. No, we didn't talk about this ahead of time. And I love how God sets everything up to remind you even. Look at to remind you of what a freaking rock star you are and the authority that you have over your own life, over every bit of it, the actual ownership that you can take over all of that. Like, for instance, you could have been a whiny pee pants, like seriously. I mean, and just like sat there, like you said, there's no place like home. Like that whole, when you said that, I like saw the tornado part of Wizard of Oz and then saw her on the bike. You know, the whole thing about that whole thing, right? You could have done that. And instead, there were very key things you said. And one of the things is like when you're doing your I am in peace. I am in joy. And of course, my heart immediately went to the gifts of the Spirit because I'm listening to you recite all of those things, right? It's important for all of you that are listening that you say those things out loud. Your words, every single word, is a creative container of energy. It's a legit container of energy meant to create. Now, you can think that stuff, but let's say that you're like in the grocery store and for whatever reason, you're freaking out. I mean, and it could even be something as sincere as you have more month than money and you're trying to figure out, okay, which, what, how, all of that. Totally been there. Eric's been there. We've all been there before, right? But, and let's say that, and there's people around. Are you going to say this out loud? Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? I've done it. I know Eric's done it. Like, and even we've talked about, which Eric, you know, we can talk about this as well, the whole mirror exercise thing in a minute. But, you know, I've even done that in front of a mirror at TJ Maxx out loud, you know, when I was having a moment. And the other thing, though, that I love that you said was about gratitude. And if you want a quick way back to your joy hum, that's an easy road, right? That's an easy thing to do. What are some steps, because I know you and I have this similar ones, that you would share with anybody who's listening right now on how to, what does that even mean? Like, how do you use gratitude? Like, you live by the beach. I'm a beach girl. You know, I have a family in Hawaii, a family of surfers from my cousin Keola Kauhani, and then I'm going to shout you out on purpose. And they surf. He surfs like Surf is his church. He surfs every morning, I think. And my cousin Jeff, you know, there's just a whole family of that, but they navigate right through the waves. How do you navigate your life using gratitude and surfing through that to get to your joy?
Well, you know, I'm really blessed to be where I am, because right outside my back door, which is our little patio here, there's a beautiful little pond, and there's tons of nature around. And so I'll open the sliding glass door, and there's a family of Canadian geese that will be taken off here pretty soon as their babies are big enough and they're going to get ready to fly. And they've been here now. This is their third year of having babies here. We got ducks, we got cranes, we got ospreys, we've got turtles and fish and all of these things. The other day was the pelican landed and just walking, and I'm like, look it up, Pelican. How you doing there, buddy? What's going on? And then I can look this way and see the ocean. And so when I get out into nature, I just get out there and I stop and I'll sit down for a few minutes and I'll just listen and I'll just be. And one thing that I learned over time is to focus on the near, mid, and far sounds because it helps me to really let go of what I've been thinking about. And this is my pattern interrupt. And I get back into my present and I get back into my now. And so I'll be thinking and feeling of what I can hear in my near sounds, which could be something right very close within a 10-foot radius around me. And I'll hear a little lizard, running around out there, or I'll hear the wind in the trees and the rustle of through the trees. I'll hear that. That's really close. I'll hear what's going on in the pond. I'll hear a passing car. I'll hear an airplane going between, heading down to San Diego to land or whatever. And it just depends upon what that is, but I take that time to intentionally get back into that space where I can disconnect from that stress, if you will, that pressure, the narratives that are flowing. And I make that my habit to get into that space of which I can reconnect with me. Sometimes you'll hear people talking about, I had an outer body experience and I got to get back into my body. And whatever that looks like, sounds like, and feels like for you, when I get out of sync and out of whack, I do feel like I'm out somewhere. And I feel like I just got to get recentered.
Ooh, I love that.
And you see how I'm holding my heart? Because that's where I get recentered into my heart.
Yeah.
And then from there, my neurons that are connected, my heart neurons and my brain neurons that now are connecting. Now I can get rid of these narratives and stories and the fake news that's floating around in my head.
Yeah.
And get that back aligned with my heart.
Yeah.
And that's where my joy, my passion, my gratitude lies.
You know what I love is that the whole time you're talking, I'm thinking, yeah, of course you have to, because a lot of times people spend their lives outside of here, right? And all of you that are listening, just take a second and just put your hand on your heart for a sec. Take a deep breath. Take another one. And feel that. Feel your presence. Feel your presence. A lot of times people are so present with their pain that they negate being present in their life. They even negate being present in their heart. And they spend all this time out here with the narrative, with those, like, think about it. When was the last time you had an imaginary conversation with that ex person that you wanted to say, I should have said this, I should have said that? Or you have the whole conversation and dialogue in your head, or you're on your way home and you're mad and you want to talk to your mate and you don't really want to talk with them. You just want to annihilate them because you're mad and hurt and whatever. What I love about what you said was about staying present. The other illustration that you gave when you go outside, because I spend a lot of time outside too, and you know that about me. And from the rustle to the trees, from looking at each pine needle, because I have the privilege of living in the Pacific Northwest, and so looking at each pine needle and just seeing what's there, even the vibrancy, the colors, all of that, to hearing the plane far away. All of that's happening right now in real time. All of it is happening right now. And what's so cool is a lot of times you're thinking about all the things that could have happened or could have, should have, would have happened, or all that stuff, instead of just being present and enjoying that exact moment. That for me is how to get myself instantly back to joy, right? And even the gratitude piece, we have so much to be grateful for. So many gosh, spectacular blessings that happen during the day. Even this morning, I mean, how many options did you have of shirts to put on? Like, I mean, how many, I'll say this for some of us, Eric, how many styles could you have done with your hair today? I know I couldn't help myself because you and I talk about that. But I mean, seriously, like some of you have different glasses you could put on. I mean, just think of all the different things and beautiful things you have in your home and in your lives, and things that you prayed for earnestly that now are in your hands. Look at your breakfast table, or in your cars you're driving your children to school, and this family that you've created, and the network of people that you have around you. And just look at how, like, God's really blessed you and shown up in your life in so many amazing and spectacular ways, right? How can you not be filled with joy? Like, how, you know what I mean? I I have this thing. So I like putting my gas in at Costco. I mean, it's, you already know. Nobody needs to talk about it because we already know why. And but I'm like, I put it in there, and you know how you do when you're at the gas thing, you clean out all the trash and you do, whatever, right? The napkins or whatever's in your car. And I sit there and for just a second, and I don't care if you think I'm kooky, because this is my process. And I just sit there and I thank God that I'm able to fill my tank, and that that I have so many neat things. Now, this is a process I think you might do in the morning. I know I do. And you call it gratitude stacking. So do I. But it actually sets the intention and the tone for my entire day before I even get out of bed. I reach for the glass of water I have, I slug it down, right? And before I even drink my ketones that I drink every morning, before my feet hit the ground, I'm already in that meditative, prayerful state and stacking my gratitudes. Things that I write things down. Like, I have a journal right there, a gratitude journal. I write 3 things down from the past that I'm grateful for. The past could have even been the night before. But, as many years as you've been on the earth, you're not going to run out of things. So you don't have to say the same old things. You're going to be able to think of stuff. Like, I think about, I wrote down the other day, this cool thing. So my father had this coolest dad. Love my dad. Like, I feel like I hit the parent lotto, the parental lotto. But my dad, I remember as a kid, we were at a swimming pool, and we're Hawaiian Sicilian. My father's Hawaiian. And so all of us kids were there swimming, at the pool. And it's like the neighborhood, the pool, right? They have them in California where you can go. I know they do in Utah. I don't really see them so much here, kind of, but so we're at the pool, and then all of a sudden you hear this, and then they put these the thingies, I don't even know, the steps to race. And then they put the little thingies, to make lanes, so that, and then they say, let's have all the parents race. And my dad, he's like, and I mean, it's funny to think of it now, because I'm thinking, man, my dad's kind of buff. And he goes up there to stand, and he looks, and I remember him saying, "Hey, Puanani, watch this," and he's looking at all the other parents. He's like, and I'm thinking, he's going to smoke them, and he gets in there, and he's so proud, and he's got this cheering squad of, I think there were like, 6 of us kids there, and we're like cheering our dad on, and he swims to the end and swims back. He's so stinking fast. And of course, what are you going to win? I think he won, like, those red, white, and blue popsicle thingies. I think he won like one of those, but he won. But I remember clearly him handing me his watch and saying, "Keep this safe for me, Puanani." And then watching him. But how grateful I am that I got to have that experience, right? Mm-hmm. One thing I got to write from my past. Then 3 things in the present, like right now, that I'm grateful for in this moment. And something that you said sparked my memory of this. 3 things in the future, but I speak them as though they're now. It is done. It is done. And I speak them as now. Yeah. Now, our mentor, Joseph McClendon III, taught us how to do that. I used to just keep a gratitude journal, but I didn't combine all of it as though all of it was happening simultaneously in my life. It's a real game changer for me personally. What's another maybe habit or something that you do?
Yeah. So when I'm talking about the gratitude stacking in the morning, this morning I started with a couple of things, and then as quickly as I got into gratitude, I started going into the worries. I'll be straight. And so as I began to feel those hitting right away, I went into the reframe, the sentence reframes. And and I have been really working on myself lately on going into a different sentence. This will work out, meaning that it's future tense, to this is working out, meaning that it is present, it is happening now, whether I understand it, feel it, know it, or not. It is in motion, it is working out. And I've done the same thing with my I am statement. I don't say the am because the am is something I'm trying to shoot for. I say I champion power, hope, energy, love, meaning it
Mhm.
is now, it is happening. I do it now. I am present in it. And so I found myself going into that this morning. This is working out. This is working out. And all those things that I said, I'm worried about this. This is working out. Okay, take that away. I'm worried about this. It is working out. Take that away. What am I concerned about with this? Okay, it is working out. And so I'm projecting that and manifesting that it is happening, and it will. And I don't have any doubt over it. I don't have any fear anymore. I don't have any worry anymore. And that led me into gratitude of look how much this has changed for the positive, reminding myself,
Mhm.
and this thing that I'm worried about is working out because we have come so far here, or
Yeah.
this has come so far here. So I'm not focusing on the past or the future, and I'm solely taking myself into my present and my now.
Right. You know what's so cool about that is so I do something very similar. So and I start out by saying I'm so grateful and thankful that fill in the blank, and I'll use your words similar to your words. You could even do like that XYZ has worked out in the most loving, most spectacular ways beyond my wildest dreams and imaginations. And it's worked out. It's done. It's finished. Exactly for the highest and best good for everybody. And I would say too, because if it's loving for me, it's loving for you. That doesn't mean that, like, and you say that even in relationships or in other things. If you need to move past a relationship and get beyond because you've outgrown the toxic, or all of those things, you got what you needed out of it, you're done, kind of thing. If it's the most loving thing for you, it's the most loving thing for them, right?
Mhm.
And I love that, and I love that you've shifted again, our words being creative containers of energy,
Mhm.
shifted those things. I love that you speak them out loud. I love, what I mean, all of those pieces. So let's kind of shift to some really practical things.
Yep.
So we've got summer here, and you're an educator, so yeah, you're out of school. I hear that. What is it? School's out. Oh, so, right,
Heck
exactly.
yeah.
And so, what are some fun? Now we're going to shift completely from the inner to the outer. What are some really fun ideas that parents, or because you are the parent guy, you know, can do with their families just to create joy within their homes that kind of get the morning going? Because now you got the kids home. That means more dishes, more food, more junk, more wrappers, more, and I don't mean like Snoop Dogg. I mean like more of candies and pizza boxes and stuff, and the kids' friends are over, and all of the things, right?
Yep.
And kids, just all of it. So, what are some real ideas, tidbits, whatever that you might want to share that you guys would or do?
Yeah, so age appropriate, right? I mean, the younger families with littles, those kids are up pretty much early and they're ready to rock and roll and they want to go do things and have fun and yada yada. And so, I look at it as making things gamified, and having fun within that process. So if it's like, hey, we're going to go to the beach today, uh, but we need to also clean up so that when we come home and we're tired from being at the beach all day, we don't have to focus on having to do house cleanup. So what kind of music should we listen to, and cranking some tunage and dancing around, and we're having fun and we're doing it, and we're doing it as a group, and as a family, and spending some time in that. And because the chores don't have to be that negative
Right.
association with the word chore, it can be that we're all contributing to our living environment.
Mhm.
And since we all live here, we all have responsibility to make the house what we want it to be. And then asking them is, what how would you rather live? Like,
Right.
there's just how you want your room to look like. Is this how we want the living room to look like? Doesn't look very nice. Does it feel nice? It doesn't feel very nice. Can't sit anywhere because the couch is covered in stuff, right? As you're going into your middle school and high school age, good luck. God bless you. Those kids,
Yeah.
you're lucky if they get out of bed sometime before 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But
Hello.
you know what? You know what? That's okay. And we let our kids sleep because we knew that in their development, age, in that extra sleep is so vitally important and needed.
Yep.
But then again, we would do things like that. Doing things as a family, in that process to have that and keep that engagement, right? It's shorter, in that middle school and high school time frame. Like, you only get a few minutes here and there, of which that happens. Um, but I know for me and my kids, they're the three that are young adults. We're sending TikToks back and forth and having a riot with that, and so it doesn't matter what time you wake up. Somebody's gonna have something funny that we just we send around to each other. So we have fun
Right.
in that, and not everything takes money. There's
Right.
tons of free things that you can do. You
Yep.
can go for a walk. You can just go outside and be. You could sit out on the back porch and have conversation, and um, talk about what their friend groups are doing, and what's happening, what's going on with your friends, what's happening here. Or my older kids is how, not so much as how was work today, but what are you experiencing in this role of service that you
Yeah.
have, making boba tea. And what are you what what are you what are you experiencing in this? What are you learning from this?
Right.
How is your personal connection with your customers? What is that? How does that prove to be a benefit? What are you seeing happens when you get that customer that comes in that demands everything and what? So it just opens up tons of conversation space, and just having fun with it, having fun with being together, because it's short
Oh,
lived. you
yeah.
know that cliche, wow, enjoy the kids while they're young because pretty soon they're going to be gone. It's so true.
Oh my
It's so
goodness.
true. So I really try to make sure that the connections that I have with them um, are purposeful and intentional,
100%.
and not just, well, you should do this. When I was your age, blah 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 blah. No, stop it, stop
Who
it, stop it.
cares?
They don't want to know that you're, back, because my kids will say, well, yeah, back when you guys didn't even have electricity back then. Like, you're so old. Right. So they love to just give it to me right back. And we
Right.
have a lot of fun teasing with that. But, depending upon your age of your kids, gamify it, make it fun, get outside, do things together as best you can, work around schedules, and
Yeah.
try to earmark some quality time as a
100%.
family together, because
100%.
that's going to make a big difference, because you're creating that space for time, but what really is happening here is you're creating a memory when you guys get together.
Which is so great, and one of the things I kept hearing, like when you were talking about the boba tea thing, how did you handle that sucky customer? Basically, I'm paraphrasing. And I'm thinking, did you use the boba tea like a spit wad and like
you're shooting the little gels at them?
Back at you, pal, but also what I really was thinking is creating moments to celebrate. And what I mean by that is let's suppose that like your vacation's going to be going camping or glamping for me. Cause like I'll take a hot tub in a Hilton or a beach cabin all day, every day over like, please, a tent and whatever, but however, let's just say that you're doing that as opposed to getting in a plane and going to Europe or something. And that gets to be your family vacation. Well, create some really fun things. I mean, the cool thing about Google University is holy smack. You get everybody's the best. You get so many cool ideas from so many people of things like, I never thought of that. Like a lot of you that are watching, if you have high school age children and younger children, your high schoolers, if they're not working, are the ones home because you're at work, right? And so how can you make it fun for them? Well, like even doing contests of including them in the meal prep ideas for the week, and then taking them shopping and letting them pick out the ingredients, letting them pick out the snacks, letting them decide, and then celebrating them even after every meal. If they create breakfast for your littles, or if they create lunch for your littles or dinner, even shooting them a text, holy cow, I just love you so much. Because of you, I get to be here. And I'm so grateful that we're together doing this together as a family. And you might think that those things don't matter. Yeah, they do. Think about it. If you're in a relationship and you're sending hubba text messages to your mate, and those matter. They matter when you get home, and they set the whole tone for when you're coming home, don't they? I mean, it's like all of those things. Just when it requires you being present, right? And it requires your presence. So when you go home and you bring joy because you've stayed present in that all day, and you bring that joy into your home, and you leave, the less than stellar boss somewhere outside of your hemisphere when you're at home, and you leave, well, you might want to tell them about the boba tea food fight, but other than that, you do all those things. But it's so important that you have that joy, that you're able to just enjoy your family, right? Because like you said, now I'm going to give you, it hit me when you said, and you were kind of making light of it, but it's so true that they only stay this size for so long, that whole thing. Well, last night I got to have dinner with Marissa, who I shouted out, my beautiful Mo'opuna, my granddaughter. And I shouted her out at the beginning of this because she's graduating from high school. And I'm so excited. So far, I have the four girls for 4 of grands that have graduated, the top 4 oldest. Yes, so excited. And, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking around the table, and 2 of my other grandgirls and then one of their friends are sitting there. And I thought, A, what beautiful company I have tonight. And B, what a blessing. And I think to myself, how quickly that time has gone by, and how quickly things do go by. And if you don't grab every minute, every second, everything. And I'm laughing, listening at the funny things they're saying to each other, and just even watching, because I know these girls so well, I knew exactly what they were going to order. Like Pua, no matter what, it doesn't matter. The girl is going to order spaghetti and meatballs all day, every day. We were at Olive Garden, right? So, I mean, there's that. And then, of course, my Bella's the fettuccine girl, and got to have that broccoli in there. Knew it. And then there's Moo Marissa, who doesn't, she's not into meat really, and so she orders the fettuccine sans the chicken, right? And I'm sitting there, and then Shay, she was the wild card, their friend. I'm like, what is she gonna get? But it was so interesting because I just had to breathe it in a minute. And that moment gave me, it filled my cup with so much joy. So when you go throughout the day, Eric, I know you well enough to know, especially what you shared in the beginning. Do you notice how many opportunities you have from the grocery store? Because you have a special friend at your, is it Trader Joe's or wherever you go, right? But
Yeah.
from the places that you go to, that you can take in a deep breath of joy,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. Yeah, I do. And when I am in alignment,
Huh?
and that's the key right there. When, and being aware of how I'm thinking, what I'm thinking, and how I'm feeling,
Right.
that enables me then to attract it. So
Mm,
when I go to this grocery store, that is attracted back to
mm,
me from others. When I'm here at the house, work things will
right.
be attracted to me. People will be attracted to me because that is what I'm giving out. And that all comes down to my frequency, my frequency energy that I am operating in,
Yeah.
and others will connect to that same frequency, and they don't understand it or don't know what's happening. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? I want to be near you. I want to be around you. I want to be with you. And I don't know why. It's because that frequency is attracting other people in that same frequency, or it's helping to bring people up to that frequency level. And
Yes.
so that's what I try to do every chance I get, and keeping to reminding myself of staying in that so I can help impact others as well as myself. So it's not just me focusing on me, it's me focusing on a bigger picture.
100%. You know what I love? Because frequency is my jam, just like joy. I like, don't even get me started. I could be on here for several episodes. And when you lock and load in that frequency of joy, and it's a frequency. That's why I call it your hum of joy. And when you have that, it's like a heat-seeking missile for me. Where can I bring joy? Where can I stoke the fires of joy?
Yeah.
Where can I do those things? And I love that because it is that frequency. Now, here I want to share, because something you said is bringing people up to the frequency of joy. When you have teenagers at home during the summer that might not always get along, that might not always want the other one to get to have the remote, might not, if you've got the one big computer screen and everybody wants to play games, whatever it is, right? Or you have the teenagers that have weathered the storm of the littles all day and trying to do all of those things. I would say when you get home, and this is something that I actually used to do when I felt the need to, way back when my children were not grown-ups with their own babies. Um, I back then I'd call it armoring up. But I would say, get yourself battle ready before you walk in the home, but battle for joy. Like you might have people that are in your home, littles or older, that are just worn out and tired or frustrated or irritated. I mean, teenagers fight and bicker, like please,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
And both of us coach, youth and teens and littles, and so we know. And so go home with joy overload. Now, you might get under their skin in the beginning, but that's okay. And a lot of your teens may not want to be loved on. Love on them anyway. Till you break that barrier down. I'm telling you, give them lugs, hugs, celebrate, thank yous, whatever, that you've got to do. But when you walk in with wearing, I'm going to say it specifically like this, wearing the mantle of joy, wearing the mantle of gratitude, wearing the mantle of love, because you get to be their tour guides for this earth walk. You're it. And so now you can take them on the ghetto tour, or you can take them on like I said the other day to Venu, in the land of suck or in the land of succulent. It's on you, right?
Mhm.
choose
Mhm.
whichever way you want to go. But
Yeah.
what would you say to parents? Like, let's say that they're frazzled, I mean, and they just want to have continuous joy. We've given
Mhm.
them tons of great tips, tools, and techniques today, but is there anything that we've left amiss or out that you can think of?
Yeah, stay within yourself. It's so hard to navigate some days through the challenges of life, which you heard me speak of earlier. And I have to be intentional. I have to choose it. I have to look through my lens out
Mhm.
at the world through that space of joy. I have to choose that. My heart, I make sure that my heart is singing to others, to speaking to others. So as I'm walking around the grocery store or I'm walking from room to room in the house and my kids are there, even if I am not verbally saying something to them, my
Mhm.
heart is talking to them. My
Yeah.
heart is telling them, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. I think you're amazing. There's times when I say that verbally to them. Um, but most of the time, um, it's coming from that my heart is speaking out to them. When I'm walking around the grocery store, I have to make sure that I've got some sort of a little bit of a smile going on. The bigger the better, obviously. Why? Because I'm setting it up so that my heart is talking to everyone out there and around. That
Right.
50 foot, that 70 foot, that 75 foot, that 100 foot rule of
Mhm.
my energy, my magnetism going out to all these people. And they're looking at me like that, and they don't know why.
Right.
And so I just get to smile at them, right? Freaking them out. I freak them out. My daughter's like, Dad, you're being so creepy. Why are you being so weird? Why are you looking at me? And she doesn't understand that my heart's talking to her right now. But she'll pick
Mhm.
up on that and then just
Mhm.
like, oh, honey, I'm just looking at you because you're just so amazing. And I love to be around you. I love to be near you. And she's like, Dad, you're so weird.
Well, we only have a few minutes left, and you brought up so much in me, so I'm gonna speed this through the
Yeah.
speed round here. Because one of those things is that connect with them with your heart first before
Mm,
you even get out of your car on your way home.
yeah.
One of the other things too, and I suggest this, whether it's you and your mate at home, whether it's you and children, do not go home looking for all the things they didn't pull off or the things they didn't get accomplished. Who cares? Just look at all the things they did and stack all their wins for them. Oh my gosh, that's so great. Even if it's a corner of a counter that's still clean, right? Or who cares? Or you can tell there's still dishes, but you can see that was a good lunch they made, whatever it is. Now, we're already getting hello, Eduardo, our beautiful producer. He's already saying 3 minutes, 3 minutes. So please, Eric, where can we find you? Please share with us.
Sure. So I'm on all the social media feeds there, Energetic Life Now. You can find me there, energeticlifenow.com, my website. If you want to join my free family group, I highly encourage you to do that. It's the Empowered Family Network on Facebook.
Yes,
Empowered Family Network.
yes, absolutely. Join Empowered Family Network. While you're at it, hop over to the Victory Network as well. We would love to have you. Please shout out and let me know. You can find me also on Facebook and all the other socials. Eric, thank you, thank you, thank you. I cannot imagine having this discussion with anybody else. It's always such a joy for me to be in your space, and I love it, and I love you, and I'm so grateful. So thank you. I want to thank all of you for being here today with us. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish Radio Networks. Please check us out, spanglishworld.ca, for all the news and all the programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it. And let me tell you before I end, what do you have to believe to create your victorious life and your life filled with joy? We want to thank you so much for being here. Again, Spanglish World, live it. Thank you so much.